A local couple recently returned from a trip to Bulgaria where they won a pretty prestigious award from the Classic Universe Pageant. It's Douglas and Nini Anderson from Rexburg, and we're going to talk to them all about that today. Thanks, guys, for taking a few minutes with me today.
Well, thank you and
Yeah.
inviting us on here.
Yeah, oh, you bet. This is so we got to point out because as I was talking with Nini before we were recording, when I first got an email that you guys had participated in this, I immediately thought, oh, they must be bodybuilders. But this pageant has nothing to do with the bodybuilding aspect. That's a totally different thing. This is a more of a talent competition. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we performed ballroom dancing. You could compare it a little bit to
Dancing with the
no,
Stars.
more of a it wasn't all dancing, so everybody had all different talents, like the America's Got Talent type of a thing where everybody has their talent. And so we performed ballroom dancing. There was, like he said, a fire dancer, there was um opera singers, there were, all kinds of different talents.
I want to hear the story of how you guys got into ballroom dancing and how you got into the universe pageant. But I want to start off with you guys won the world title for this
Yeah,
competition. And by the way, this competition was in Bulgaria. So
yeah.
you're competing with athletes, or not athletes, talented people in various categories all over the world, and you get the world title. Just your reaction to that.
Oh, it was amazing. We did, really the funnest part of this is meeting people all over the world and getting to know different people, different cultures. Some of our you look at some of the politics going on right now, and some of our best friends from that particular event were from Russia. And we were in Bulgaria that wasn't far from other places that are kind of politically charged right now. But being able to reach out, get to know people outside of politics in the way that other countries are portrayed in the media, and really getting to know people. That's really some of the funnest parts of getting out and doing these competitions. I don't know that I would have ever put Bulgaria on my travel list, but because of this competition, man, I've checked that box. Now I've been to Bulgaria and I got to know the Bulgarian people, and I've learned that in some countries, shaking your head yes means no, and shaking your head no means yes, and it's just a part of the cultural experience. But yeah, Bulgaria, it was a really fun experience.
And we got to compete with people from 20 different countries. We didn't imagine taking the world title, but it was a huge honor, and we just were excited to move forward.
Your participation in this, there was kind of an interesting backstory of how you ended up here. You guys were on a cruise.
Yeah.
You want to connect the dots from that to how you got to Bulgaria?
Yeah, a little backstory here. So Nini and our daughter have participated in some of this pageantry and been able to. We've traveled around the world doing that stuff. But Nini and I have reached 25 years of marriage, and I had scheduled a transatlantic cruise to celebrate that 25-year union. And when then we went to Salt Lake City, Utah, to compete for
Mr. and
the
Mrs. USA.
Mr. and Mrs. USA, and we won that title. And then the competition was 2 weeks before our cruise, so we had to rebook all of our airfare and get all scheduled to fly out to Bulgaria and do that competition and tour around Bulgaria and meet those people, all the fun that we've been talking about. And then we had a week where it was between the competition and our anniversary cruise. And so then we spent a week in Italy. We went to some hiking cities. We went to Tuscany and soaked in some hot springs. We went to Rome and saw the architecture there and got to experience it. We did the whole thing traveling on trains around the country. And then that just kind of led us on to the cruise ship. We played a really fun game on the cruise ship. They called it the Yes No Game Show. And they brought Nini up on the stage with her crown, and they had lots of questions. And she had made it a little ways, and they were asking about all this stuff. And then she ended up saying a yes or a no right when they were just getting to learn what we did in this competition. And so they called me up after that, and they learned that we had been dancing in this competition. So then they asked us to teach dance on the ship. And then we spent a lot of our cruise time teaching dance, and then taking advantage of all the perks that the cruise line offered for us teaching dance. Had big crowds and had a really fun time. Nini, on every one of those aspects, what do you think? What would you add to that?
And then, and we met 25 years ago at a dance, and he needed a partner to help instruct dance. So we started instructing dance together in, what was that, 1999?
Yeah.
And we've been doing that ever since.
At the Retreats Dance Club in Rexburg,
Rexburg,
Idaho.
Yeah. So we met here in Idaho. In Rexburg.
Nini comes from a background of more like jive swing and some of the old Lindy ballroom. And I come from a background of more country style dancing. And I was teaching dance at Retreats, but then they had a jive night that they wanted me to teach. And I knew the steps, I'd taken the classes, but I needed a partner to help me teach that, or at least someone that knew what they were doing, so that while I was teaching, I didn't have to worry about teaching my partner at the same time. And so that's where we met all those years ago.
On that note, going back to the Rick's college days, how, Nini, it sounds like, well, both of you had been dancing before you even met, but how did you both get interested in dancing? Nini, do you want to start?
Yeah, so my parents were on the ballroom dance team at Rick's College. And so I just grew up dancing. They taught us as we grew up. And so I knew ballroom dancing from a little tot. I don't remember not knowing it. So, and then I met Doug at a dance at Rick's College, and like he said, so.
And what about you, Douglas? How did you get started with dancing?
Boy, getting started with dancing, I was a stressed teenager living in a small town in Idaho, and for me it was partly blowing off steam. It was partly learning to be social. It was learning to hang out with people, dance, and gain a skill. So I had a brother that lived in Logan, Utah, and he had told me there was a dance club there that was really fun, and he kind of talked me into going one night. And I was like any teenager, just busy with life and stressed about life. But then at that dance club, I kind of posted myself on a chair to kind of watch things and just kind of be there. And then my brother went and talked a girl into coming and asking me to dance. And I got out on the dance floor, and she taught me a couple things. I thought, man, this is kind of fun. And it just kind of snowballed from there. After that, I had cousins coming with me. Like, we started getting groups of people. We'd go out dancing. I'd teach them stuff. They'd teach me stuff. We'd go out on the lawn, and we'd all learn stunt moves where you're throwing people over your shoulder, over your head, or spinning them around you, or different things. And then after we figured it out on the supposedly soft grass, then we'd take it into the dance floor and we'd go practice it. And it just got to be a really fun social experience, and it's been a great way to just blow off steam and recreate and socialize.
Aside from teaching dance, was, participating in dance competitions, much less going on to the, Classic Universe Pageant, ever part of your ambitions?
For me, no, I was just out to have fun. and even with this universe stuff, they mostly have competitions for women. And so in this case, they came and asked me to participate in this because of what the experience we had in Dubai. And so, a little bit apprehensive, a little bit nervous, but I can tell you, I've never gone into professionally instructing dance as a profession, because I've got my own profession. I'm a civil engineer, but I've always been nervous that dancing wouldn't be fun anymore. For me, I just want it to be fun. But getting into this competition, I can tell you, traveling around the world and meeting people from other countries and working with them and getting to know them. Now we have contacts. We're starting to visit people in other countries. Like, it's just opened up a whole new world for us, and been a very educational and a very exciting experience.
Now, Nini, this isn't your first time participating in a Classic Universe Pageant. Was it last year that was your first time?
So last year I competed and won Mrs. North America, and then I competed in Dubai as Mrs. North America. And my daughter was able to come and compete also. She won Miss North America. So we competed as a mother-daughter pair over there. And, the one thing I've learned about pageants is you win some, you lose some. you kind of go and do your best, and they're always looking for something special. And so in Dubai, we were able to go as Miss and Mrs. North America, which was huge, but didn't really win a lot of awards there. I actually won Classic Mrs. Woman of the Universe Classic there. And then I also won a title here as Mother of the USA. But you don't always win a title. Sometimes you go and you just go and compete and learn that they're looking for something else. That's the other thing that's fun worldwide, as opposed to just in the US. We kind of have our ideal beauty, our ideal, what we think a model looks like, what we think everything looks like, but it's not the same around the world. Like, different countries have different ideas. Like, maybe our models are thinner than their models, or maybe our, I remember getting there and I was really good. I was actually instructing people in the US on how to walk, how to do your stage walk. And I got over to Dubai and they had us walk, and they looked at me and they said, "You don't know how to walk." And really they were looking for a different walk, just.
Do you guys foresee this happening in the future, participating in this competition again?
I could picture doing more. It's one of those things. You don't know how much you're going to do, and you don't know when you're going to do it. So I couldn't tell you that we're necessarily going to jump right back into it and do it again. But it is a lot of fun. It's a wonderful experience. So I could picture doing it again.
And then, having done it too, I think this year we received invitations to come back next year and judge some competitions for the universe. So it'll be a balance between maybe doing some judging, maybe doing some competitions. It's a little hard. I told him I don't know if I can top the world titles. So I don't know. But yeah, and like he said, just sharing things. For this competition, it was more focused on the talent. The competition I did last year in Dubai, it was more focused on your forum and what you were doing to help. For me, it was promoting women's health and women's education. And so each year, each talent, each competition is a little different on what their focus is and what they're looking for. So it just depends on where that road takes us. If we
No, and I'd add one more piece to that. This is my first year competing, but I have been helping Nini with her stuff. And one of my favorite parts is we'll go around to some of these Idaho parades or state parades or different things, or small town parades. And mothers will come up to us afterwards. We'll do a float, okay? And Nini will be dressed up as a princess, and then I'll dress up in tuxedo as a prince, and we'll have our banner on the side stating what our titles are, things like that. But mothers will come up to us afterwards. We'll be walking around through the fair, and little girls will be getting pictures, with the prince and princess. The mothers will say, or even sometimes fathers, that their daughter asked them if there was going to be a prince and princess, or maybe sometimes just a princess in the parade. And they always have to let them down and say, "Oh, no, not usually. Usually parades don't have like a princess in them." Besides, sometimes they have the royalty and stuff. But when we're going down that street on our float, which has been our truck lately, those little girls just jumping up and down with excitement that there is a prince and princess in the parade. And that has actually been one of the funnest parts, is making some of those little dreams come true. It was a fun experience, and it's fun to share it, and it's fun to share with other people and see if they get the motivation, whether it's a pageant or whether they're going river rafting or whatever it is people want to do, just getting that motivation to go do something. And that's kind of why we share what we do, is to help motivate other people to step outside their box and find things they can do.